Hey, welcome back to another video. I have just got back from my holiday, well, a couple of days ago now. Fresh tan, as you can see. And I had so many messages in my DMs and stuff about the holiday and where we stayed, how much, like, can you go there on a budget? So I thought I would just do a quick sit down video explaining it. I've actually got some clips and stuff on the holiday as well that I'll put in, but I'll just take you through what we did, like where we stayed, and put all the links below. So this is just kind of like my little experience travel guide to the Amalfi Coast. I apologise for the noise, there's building works going on outside my building, but it's so hot in London today, so it's been quite nice for us. We got back and I was scared, you know, you get holiday blues, you get back, the weather's not as nice, but it's pretty goddamn hot in London. So I've got the windows open, I don't really want to shut them, or it'd be so stuffy in here. But yeah, let's get straight into this because I don't want it to be a really long, super boring, rambling video. But I just thought this would be a great way to kind of talk you through what we did. So in terms of how long we went for and whether or not you can do it on a budget, I think so we went for 9 days and we did 6 days in a place called Praiano, I think that's how I pronounce it, but the Italians say it slightly differently. They really didn't understand me. I do talk quickly and they just weren't happy with how I pronounce things, but I want to say it's Praiano. They go Praiano. Yeah, but it's in between, basically Praiano is in between the Positano and Amalfi, which are the two places that you would probably have heard of. Like, Amalfi is actually a town. I think some people just think, like, well, the coast is called the Amalfi Coast, but Amalfi itself is a town. So we flew into Naples, and Naples is like the nearest airport, so you have like Naples and then like a spit that goes round, and like Sorrento's here, and then you go round the other side of the spit and it goes Positano, Praiano and Amalfi. And it actually worked really well. There are like buses going back and forth between Positano and Amalfi, so you can just hop on a bus, which I'll tell you about in a bit. But you can just hop on a bus and they're like both 10 minutes either way, so it really, you can get to the places really easy, and it's cheaper to stay in Praiano. And what we liked about Praiano is that it was more of like a local Italian town, like it wasn't that touristy. There was actually a really nice split between Italians and like tourists, and yeah, we felt like we were really staying in a town. So we stayed in an Airbnb. I will pop some pictures of our Airbnb here. We had this lovely balcony, and because it's all like built up on a hill, our balcony wasn't like overlooked by anyone else kind of thing. And like anywhere you stay, even if you don't have a balcony, as long as you've got a window, you're gonna have a good view, because that it's like built up on a hill, so like the houses are kind of staggered. So you're never really, unless you're really unlucky, is something going to be blocking your view. And like I said, it's so much cheaper to stay there than it is in Positano. Like Positano, you're looking at like £400 a night minimum to stay somewhere, which just obviously wasn't in our budget. And like some of the hotels, ridiculous, like £4 a night for like a suite. It's just insane. So we had a two bedroom Airbnb. So we had a balcony. We actually had 2 balconies. One was in the bedroom, one was like in the living area. We had a kitchen, living room, and then I'll just put the pictures here, and then like 2 double bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms. So we were saying, like, if you were with another couple, honestly, it would be a bargain, because I think we paid £130 a night to stay there. I'll double check that and put it on the screen. So obviously it was quite a bit overall, but I had an Airbnb voucher. It was like a present, someone gave it to me. So I got £300 off, so it made it a bit cheaper for us. But yeah, even then, like I said, I think it's roughly about like £30 each if you were to stay there 4 of you, and you could comfortably stay there with 4 people. So £30 each a night is a bargain. Like, honestly, it's so good. And there's a little kitchen there, so some nights we cooked in and saved a bit of money. One thing we did find, so after that we moved around to Sorrento, but I'll get into that. One thing we did find was that it was a lot more expensive to eat along the Amalfi side of the coastline, so Positano, Praiano, Amalfi. There was a few really good places in Praiano, and like I said, because they're more locally run places, they were just affordable. Like if you went for dinner in Positano, Amalfi, like it's a lot more touristy, so they will just try and charge you more. And we had like an amazing dinner in Amalfi. We went to Hotel Santa Caterina, and it was absolutely stunning, the most ridiculous hotel I've ever seen, but it was really expensive. So yeah, is, you have to kind of pick and choose where you went, but I'll put a list of everywhere we stayed. I'm literally going to go through my like camera roll so I can literally just not forget everywhere we stayed. So, and like went for dinner and stuff. We did so much, and to be honest, we didn't spend, I'll put the grand total at the end, but I don't think we spent that much for the two of us and considering what we did. So day one, like that was the view from our Airbnb, like looking one way. And then there's this restaurant with the most amazing balcony over the sea. There was like a 4-minute walk, not even that, like 2-minute walk from our Airbnb, and this is called La Moressa. And you could get a takeaway pizza from there for 10 euros. It was so good. And then even when we ate in, we shared a bottle of wine, had tiramisu to share and a pizza each. And I think it was only like 20 euros each. It was pretty cheap, which is like 18 pounds. That's so good. So yeah, I would highly recommend that if you were there. And there was also another place in Praiano called Kasai, which meant to be amazing for pasta, but we couldn't get booked in. So yeah, and that's again was meant to be pretty affordable. So starting from day one, we landed into Naples about midday. Our flight was delayed. I think by the time we got in, it was about 12:30, maybe nearly 1 o'clock, and we got the bus. But the way the bus works, from the airport you can only get a bus to Sorrento, and everyone said to us, don't get a taxi straight to Praiano from the airport, you'll get charged a fortune. And they were right. Like, I went up to a taxi and asked them for like how much it would be, and it was looking at like 180 euros for like an hour and a bit drive. And we were like, no, that's just like, I just don't want to splash that straight away, you know, I'm not made of money. So yeah, we got the bus, and the bus was really cheap. So it was 5 euros from Naples to Sorrento, and then we had to get another bus from Sorrento to Praiano, and I think that was like 2.40 each. But one thing I would say about the buses is when you're going from Naples to Sorrento, it's not that bad because it's motorway most of the way, and then you go into the hills a bit and the roads aren't awful. But along the Amalfi coast, I honestly felt sick. I felt sick to the stomach on the way there, and after I literally got off the bus, I was like, Zach, I really don't feel well, because it is like you're going around these tiny bendy roads along like on the edge of cliffs, and when you're on the bus, obviously you're higher up, and I could see the drop down the other side. And I'm not like massively great with heights, like that doesn't bother me too much, but I was thinking like it's more the roads are really skinny, so if a car suddenly comes around the corner, they slam on the brakes and like everyone falls forward on a bus. And like I'm like, oh my god, it just literally takes like a car to collide with us and we're just off the edge. So wasn't so keen on that. The bus was cheap, but it not for the faint-hearted, not for the light-hearted. So yeah, that's the one thing I would say. And because of like we had to wait, the bus only goes from the airport like every hour and a half. We had to wait a bit, and then we had to wait for a connection. It took us quite a long time to get from the airport to our Airbnb, like a good 3.5 hours. So by the time we got there, it was about 5 o'clock, and we just went out and had a little bit of an explore around the town, had a walk about, and then just went for dinner. And by then we were both quite knackered, to be honest, so we just crashed and had a pretty chilled first night. But we went to this really nice place called La Posteria in Praiano, and we both had risotto and we shared some wine. Again, it was pretty affordable. It was like 20 euros for the risotto. It was like a special dish, so we had the most expensive thing on the menu, but it was good. But the good thing about our Airbnb is, one, there was 2 restaurants within like 3-minute walk, which was nice if you were just feeling tired, you wanted something easy. And obviously we had the kitchen, so we cooked in a couple of nights. There was also 2 mini markets close to us, and they were literally the only mini markets in Praiano, I think, so that's really good as well. And then it was like a 5-10 minute walk down to the beach, not even that. But the only thing is, because it's on a cliff, it's a 5-minute walk down but a 15-minute walk up, about 300 steps, and it's tough. I was like, this is the reason that I've been walking on the Stairmaster like for the last like few months. Like every now and then I go on the Stairmaster after my leg workout. That's what I've been training for, because wow, it was tough. I can't lie, it was so tough. But yeah, obviously absolutely stunning though. Oh, it's just one of the most beautiful places I've been to. Everyone says it's a really romantic location, and like at first I was like, oh yeah, like it's really pretty, I feel like I've been to more romantic places, and then we went for dinner in Amalfi, and I was like, no, this is pretty up there. Like, no wonder I keep seeing people getting proposed to when they go to the Amalfi Coast. Like, I swear everyone's proposing in like Positano on a boat at the moment. So yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. But okay, day 2. God, I'm really rambling. I won't be surprised if anyone watches this, but you know, I like to be informative, because I think I watched a lot of vlogs before we went to kind of find out places to go, where not to go, and get a few advice on things. So I think when you're going away somewhere, it's great to watch other people's experiences and hear other people's experiences, kind of thing. So yeah, we had a little wander around that evening. This was kind of like the beach club in Praiano, really cute, but that's like in the evening, it's like dinner time there. And then so the next day we got up and we went to a place that was recommended to me, called One Fire Beach Club, but it's actually called, it's not spelt like One Fire, but yeah, I think it is on Instagram, but then like their actual like location thing, I don't know, not the point. But it was kind of like a beach club, but it was very Larry beach club, I can't lie. So like playing lots of loud music, well, in the morning it was pretty chilled, and they just had the music on, and throughout the day the music just got louder and louder. It was a bit like an outdoor club, which obviously if you want that from a beach club, it was more like Nikki Beach vibes than like a beach club. But yeah, like still not like as hilarious as Nikki Beach. But yeah, people were getting pretty drunk, and obviously you ordered drinks and food to your sunbed, but we were just kind of like wanted a chilled day in the sun. But it was really nice, and like the drinks and food were like relatively okay. It was quite expensive for a sunbed. I think you pay like, well actually no, I say that, we paid more at some places. I think it was 30 euros each for a sunbed, and you're on like a private beach. And one thing I would say is that you do then, like, they drop you back to where you're staying. So we got on like a rib and they took us round back to Praiano, and like the guy was really nice and like took us in like a cave on the way back, kind of thing. And yeah, so they like look after you, like there's a lot included in that cost, like gave you towels and like water and stuff like that. So yeah, and we went somewhere else for lunch, and that was ridiculously expensive. Wouldn't recommend. What was the lunch place called? It was called, oh, it's not going to tell me. I don't think I took any photos there. I want to say it was like Gaventina, I think it was called. And yeah, I paid like 24 euros for a chicken salad, and it was literally grilled chicken on lettuce. So I wouldn't recommend. It was beautiful, beautiful setting. Like this is kind of like the tables in there, and then like this was our view whilst we were eating, but not worth paying 24 euros for a salad. Just ridiculous. But yeah, that's what we kind of did on day 1, and this is what I mean by they like take you back. This is kind of like, this was us on our way home from the beach club, which was really nice. I burnt. I was really upset. I never ever burn. I burnt my shoulders, and like now my back's peeling, which is just not nice. It's just like, really. But yeah, so then this is the steps up from like, so they dropped us off at like Praiano, like marina, like where they can drop you, the little port there. It's tiny though. And this is one of the sets of, oh gosh. This is one of the sets of steps on the way up. Like there's quite a few steps, and they're pretty steep, narrow little steps. Yeah, we were struggling. It's more like doing it in the heat is hard. Like the steps aren't bad, but doing it in the heat, you're like sweating by the time you get to the top. Even if you're not out of breath, you're sweating. It was pretty warm. The UV levels were high. But yeah, then we got ready, and we went back, had a shower, got ready, and went for dinner. And that's when we went to that place, La Moressa, that I told you about. It was really, really good. These are the little pizzas we had, and wine stuff. And this was kind of our view when the sun went down. There wasn't that great a sunset that night, because basically the sunset's on like the other side of the spit. So if you're in Sorrento, you get good sunsets, which I'll show you when we get to that. So yeah, that was kind of our day 1, was really lovely, very wholesome. And then day 2, we decided to go into Positano. So we caught the bus to Positano. The bus is a bit hit and miss when the bus times come. But once you get the hang of the buses and you kind of know that like they never come when they say they're going to come, then it's pretty chilled. But you can get taxis, there are taxis everywhere, but to put it into perspective, we paid 50 euros to go for a one-way trip in a taxi to Amalfi from where we were staying in Praiano, and it took us 10 minutes in the taxi to get there, and they charged us 50 euros. And on the way back, the guy was literally speeding around the corners and I was scared for my life, and he charged us 55 euros and it took him 8 minutes. So yeah, I just wouldn't advise getting a taxi, it's just so expensive. Obviously the bus, you can get held up on it, because there's some points I'll put in the video of where like you're at a really skinny bit of the road and another bus comes and they can't get through, and they're just kind of having like, one of them have to reverse back, but then there's like 10 cars behind them, so they can't reverse back. And like, we literally, when we were moving from Praiano to Sorrento, we got on the bus and it took us ages because this bus could not get past because it met this other bus in a really skinny bit. So yeah, went into Positano, was really, really pretty. A lot more obviously like tourist shops and stuff like that, exactly what you'd expect, and so many boats, like boats everywhere. If you like boats, that's what it is. And for that day we were going to we went to a beach club called Treville Beach Club, and we didn't really look it up before we went. So we were like, oh yeah, like we booked a restaurant, booked a table at the restaurant there, just kind of like we wanted to go, look really nice for lunch. So if you booked a table or booked a sunbed there, then they'll pick you up from Positano and drive you around, because it's just like round the corner. But it literally took us like 5 minutes from Positano. So we got there and we were like, oh, how much are the sunbeds? And the lady was like, oh, they're 100 euros for the front row and they're 80 euros for like the behind rows. And we were like, we looked at each other and was like, no way, like no. So we laid our towels on, this is like a massive story time, sorry. We laid our towels on the beach and kind of like sat on the beach. But because the beach is like stones, because it's like volcanic ash, the sand and stones get really, really hot. So it was pretty intense and like not that enjoyable. Went for lunch, had an amazing lunch, so would highly recommend it. The pizza there, it's probably one of the best pizzas we had all week. And the service was just really, really lovely. But basically when we came back from lunch, our towels had been swamped because we left them on the beach, and like a big wave had come and just like made them soaked. So the lady who was working at like on the beach club bit, she said like, oh, like do you want these beds, and put us on front row beds, and like didn't charge us or anything, and like helped us wring our towels out and gave us fresh towels. So for that, like I would be like, they were really, really lovely, but I personally, I wouldn't have paid for the beds. I just didn't think it was justifiable. But on the same beach there is another beach club bed, and their beds are a lot cheaper, but it was kind of like in the corner, and the other half of the beach was a lot nicer. So yeah, that is what we did on our like second full day, which was super lovely. And then obviously they dropped us home at the end of the day. They drop you back round, and that was the pizza. I posted the pizza on my Instagram. It was really good. So yeah, at the end of the day they dropped us back to Positano, and then we got the bus home from there, which was super lovely. Even the beach, this is the beach in Positano, and like it's like 20 euros for a sunbed there, and it is really, really lovely. It's just busy, but there was always lots of spare sunbeds, to be honest, so you know, it's what it is. And then that evening, because we'd had a bit more of like a spinnier day, we literally just made pasta on our balcony. This was our little view. Had a bottle of wine, which was really, really lovely. And when I say we made pasta, Zach made me pasta, and he did a really good job. So he did it the second time as well. I was like, look, you did a good job the first time, so you've kind of like put yourself in it, because now I don't want to do it because you did it better. So yeah, that was kind of like our second full day. And then the next day we decided just to stay in Praiano. We wanted a pretty easy day, so we walked down to a place at the front near the marina, and it's called Il Paretta, and got some sunbeds there. They were 20 euros for the sunbeds. Basically wherever you're gonna go, you're gonna pay for a sunbed, but like they do kind of give you a bit of experience in that, like give you an umbrella, some towels. And we had lunch there, and it's really lovely because they have a really good swimming spot there. And there was actually loads of other like English couples, stuff like that. There was a lot of couples there, to be fair. It's either like couples or like girl trips, I would say, like 2 girls going on a luxury holiday, but not like a big group, do you know what I mean? So yeah, and we kind of spent the day there, which was super lovely, but again, like so hot. And they will have like these really lovely steps going into the water, and the water's just so blue. So yeah, that was really lovely. And we wanted to have a chill day, because basically that evening we were going to Amalfi and we were going for dinner at Hotel Santa Caterina, which was actually booked as a birthday present for me for my 21st. So yeah, that was kind of like covered for, which was really lovely. So we got dressed up. I wore my little red Zara dress. Everyone went mental for when I put up my story, and it is, I would recommend it. It's super flattering. I'll put the link down below and put a picture here. And we went for dinner, and oh my gosh, never have I ever just seen one, okay, price wise, 26 euros for a cocktail. But with that, they give you loads of little hors d'oeuvres. We had olives, nuts, crisps, and then like little like kind of like salmon like taster things. They weren't bellinis, they were like tarts. It was really bizarre, but they were really nice. So you get like lots of snacks and stuff with that. So we had like a glass of wine and a cocktail in the bar before we went down to the restaurant. This is kind of the view from the bar. Very aesthetic. And then this is the view from the restaurant, and it's the sun started to go down. Like, that's the restaurant. We went to the Il Mar restaurant. There's 2 restaurants in the hotel, and that one's like slightly cheaper, and it's more like fish and meat based. So it was really good, to be fair. We had bruschetta to share, and then I had black cod, and then we had grilled vegetables and chips to share with that. I didn't have any dessert or anything, but we had a bottle of wine as well. And I probably shouldn't say how much it came to, because obviously it's meant to be a present. I probably shouldn't know how much it was, kind of thing. But yeah, let's just say it wasn't a cheap evening. I think the people who stay there, I was like walking around, I was like, what the fuck do you do for a job? Because it's like minimum £900 a night to stay there if you're staying in like their smallest room that doesn't have a sea view. But they have suites there, like kind of villa suites with like infinity pools on the roof, for £4 a night. And I don't know if that's peak season prices. We looked to see, because we wanted to find out how much it was. We were trying to see how much someone was to stay in September. I don't even want to think what it might be when you're in July. But yeah, so not cheap, but was really an experience. So to be honest, if you are in the area, I would recommend going for a drink, sitting in the bar and having a drink, like even if you just have one. But it was so beautiful, and the service was lovely. Yeah, a really lovely setting and very romantic. They had like a band playing music all night, but just very like kind of Latin-y kind of music. Very Italian feeling, which was just, yeah, so lovely. But like I said, not cheap. They even have a gym in the hotel as well, which would have tempted me. And then so the next day, which was a really good day, we rented a boat, because everyone says the best thing to do is to see the Amalfi Coast by water, which, yeah, like 100%, you've got to do it. And it only cost us 250 euros to rent a boat for the day. And as I come from, like, if you don't know me, this is the first time, hi, I'm Hannah. I come from quite like a water sports background. I sailed as a kid. I did a lot of water sports growing up, and I still do. I know how to drive a boat. I'm very experienced with like the sea, and kind of like I'm very comfortable on water. Like I'm confident. And this guy, when we got on the boat, he basically showed us how to turn the boat on and on, how to stop and how to start it, and where the anchor was, and then just left us to it. And I was confident because I've done all that before, so I was like, I know what I'm doing, it's fine. But you didn't need to show any kind of license or anything to do that. So like some idiots could go out and do that and be like crashing into things, and I just thought, oh my gosh. But for 250 euros, it was a bargain. We had a nice little boat, like a laying bit at the front and a cover. It wasn't massive, but obviously there was only 2 of us, so it was pretty big for the 2 of us. And we went all the way down the coast and went to a few of the islands there and drove around the island, and it was super pretty. And we just took a picnic with us, which was really nice. Yeah, and then when we got back, we got the boat from Amalfi, so we got back to Amalfi. We had an ice cream. that's my little ice cream that I had. It was really lovely. And then headed home, well, I say home, to the Airbnb, because we were pretty tired. Like, when you spend the whole day in the sun and like you're swimming and stuff, I think like you get tired, like almost like sunstroke tired. So yeah, so we just got that night, we just got 2 takeaway pizzas from La Moressa, and it was literally, like I said, €10 per pizza for a takeaway pizza. So I bought like a little side salad from the shop, bag of salad, and yeah, we had a bottle of wine and some pizza on our balcony to finish the day. And then the last day, the weather made a turn for the worse, and it was a bit stormy. So we had like a lot of rain in the morning, and we were kind of like, what are we gonna do? And then it kind of cleared up. It was like on and off, like clouding over, and a lot cooler. So we were like, let's go into Positano and have a bit more of a walk round. As when we went the other day, we were kind of going to the beach club from Positano, and we just walked through it, and we didn't really have a look around. We had a little mooch around, and we went to a place for lunch called Casa y Bottega. I will put the link to their Instagram down below, and they were really lovely, super friendly in there, and it was a bit more of like different kind of food. They did bruschetta, but they did lots of salads and like build your own bowl kind of thing, like nourish bowls. It was a bit nice to eat something different, but we still had like Italian style food, but yeah, like something a bit different, because I've had a lot of bread by this point. So I had like a chicken salad, which was really nice, and they have the cutest little dog there, and he sits outside. So sweet. And yeah, we had a wander around, and then we headed back to our Airbnb for our final night. We actually went for drinks with an American couple. We met this couple, and they're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I only know where Tulsa is because of friends. So I was a bit like, they said they were from Oklahoma, and I was like, where's that? And they were like, oh, we live in like Tulsa, and I was like, I know where Tulsa is. I was like, I know Tulsa, and I was like, I don't, but it's just friends, and they were like, they were quite a bit older than us, like older couple. But we kept running into them. They were staying in the Airbnb next to us, and they invited us for a drink, and we were like, yeah, we'll come for a drink. And so that was super lovely. And it's always nice to chat to new people. Like, they were so well travelled, they'd literally been everywhere, so I always love hearing people's stories and experiences in places. So that was really lovely. And then we went back to our Airbnb, and Zach made another amazing pasta, and we sat and we watched Love Island. So really wholesome day, really. I actually really enjoyed that day, even though the weather wasn't great. And then the next day we got up and we moved to Sorrento. So Sorrento, it's probably like an hour and a bit drive on a bus from Praiano, and it was like €4 each for the bus ticket. So we got on the bus, there was no seats on the bus, so we were basically sitting on the floor like pikeys. Poor Zach was sitting on the door, like on the way into the bus on the steps. It was like, they just don't really care. They're like, when you say bus, not like a London bus and you're holding on, it's like a coach, like you'd go on a school trip on. So it's not much room down the middle to stand anyway. But yeah, we did that, and then we got to Sorrento about midday, and basically 2 of my friends were coming out to meet us, like my friend and her boyfriend. So there was 4 of us staying in Airbnb, and oh my gosh, this Airbnb was beautiful. It cost us £25 each a night, because there was 2 double bedrooms, a kitchen, living area, and then a bathroom, and then we also had a laundry room. And we didn't necessarily have a balcony, but you had the windows that opened up, and they had like, you know, it's like a slight ledge, so you could like lean out and have a look, like ceiling to floor windows. So it was just beautiful, and we were right by the marina and had the most amazing view of the sunset every night. So I would highly recommend. It was really affordable. I definitely think you can do Sorrento on a budget, and you could just go for like 4 days, because obviously it's only an hour from the airport. You can get the train kind of thing, or get a bus, it's not too far. So yeah, and by the time they got there, it was like 2 o'clock, so we had a pretty chilled afternoon walking around Sorrento. And then the next day, where did we go for dinner? We went for dinner at La Potrine. I can't say it. I have no idea where to start and how to pronounce it. But it's basically, you must have seen, you've probably seen it on Instagram. It's like a massive, it's actually quite a big wedding venue. It's this big like greenhouse kind of building. And they've got all these like beautifully like white tablecloth tables, and then outside they've got just like lemon vines after lemon vines and like fairy lights. It's really pretty. I'll put some photos in so you know what I'm talking about. We went there for dinner. It was really cheap, to be fair. I had Sorrento gnocchi, which is basically just baked gnocchi and tomato sauce with mozzarella on top, but it's one of their specialties, and it was really good, and that was €12, so pretty cheap. And then we got an ice cream after dinner. I couldn't tell you where we got the ice cream from because there's just so many ice cream shops. And it was pretty standard price, like €3 for a couple of scoops of ice cream. You can't go wrong. So we went that, and the others had a bit of an early start to the airport, so they were pretty tired, so we went back and we just crashed. And then on the Saturday we got up early and we got the train to Pompeii, where we then went up Vesuvius, which like sounds really uncultured, but I wasn't that fussed about doing at first because like I was like, it's gonna be expensive, we're gonna get up there. Well, I wanted to do Vesuvius, but I was like, oh god, is it gonna be really hot walking up there? Like it's 29 degrees, hiking up a mountain is just not for me right now. But I like did want to do it, but I wanted to like not spend the whole day out in Pompeii. But anyway, went up Vesuvius. It cost us €30. They transfer you from Pompeii train station to like basically you get transferred like halfway up Vesuvius because you don't mean you can walk from the bottom. So, and then it's like €10 to actually go up Vesuvius. So it worked out €30 all in all. But you can just buy a ticket that like gives you the transfer and the pass to go up. But do try and get tickets in advance because some people had walked there or got a taxi to the transfer, like the start of the walk up Vesuvius, and they couldn't buy tickets. They were like sold out, so people do buy them first thing in the morning. So if you can book in advance or go first thing in the morning, then I would do that. It was fun. I went in like shorts and a sports bra because I thought it was going to be boiling hot, and it was hot on the way there, but when we went up there it was just ridiculously windy. I don't know if it's always like that because it wasn't windy at the bottom, but obviously it's a lot higher up, so you're gonna like, the wind kind of swirls around the crater I think, but we were literally, I'll put in a video, we were literally blowing over and I was getting whipped by like the volcanic sand on the back of my legs, and it wasn't the most aesthetic experience, but obviously it's really cool. Like it's crazy that it wasn't active, well it's like dormant now, but it is just a big dusty pit, but it's a massive dusty pit. So we came back down and we got back on our coach and they took us back to Pompeii train station, which is right next to Pompeii itself. So we walked into Pompeii. We lied and said we were in the EU still, so it's only €2 entry, but if not it's €16 to go in. And I was fascinated. I was really fascinated reading it up and like how people were frozen in time. They said, oh, everything's been frozen in time, but there's no bodies. Like I always thought there was bodies, and everyone said there was like bodies of people like having sex like as they got like covered kind of thing, or like going to the toilet. None of that. It's just destroyed houses. So I don't know, like I think some of the archaeologists have like taken some of the stuff and they said they couldn't move some of the bodies because they would just disintegrate now. But they said a lot of them they'd put like cast mouldings in so they wouldn't disappear, but unless we just couldn't find them, there wasn't any. It was just buildings, but still really cool, and it's like going back in time. So we walked around, but by then we were all pretty tired and it was pretty hot at this point because of no wind in Pompeii. So yeah, at that point it was about 4 o'clock and we headed back to Sorrento and kind of just walked down the beach, got an ice cream on our way back. We were all really hot and I sat and did some work for a bit, and then we went for dinner, and that night we went for dinner. We went for a drink at this place called Peter's Bar, which is on the beach, which was really lovely. Have a great cocktail menu, good little snacks when you buy it, get a drink, and an amazing view of the sunset. I'll put a little video of where it was. And then we went for dinner at a place called Rucco's, and that was really nice. My camera was just telling me it was getting hot. But yes, we went there and that was pretty affordable. I had fish, which was so nice. Lots of options on the menu, and it's basically right on the marina, so it was like right below our Airbnb, so it was just a pretty chilled evening. We had a lovely time. It was quite nice for like Zach and I to like have extra company. Not that we don't, like we're happy by ourselves, but like it makes it up. And then the next day, after a bit of convincing, I really wanted to do a boat trip. We wanted to go to Capri, but I was like, it's €30 to get the €35 to get the ferry from Sorrento to Capri, and like everyone said there's actually not much on Capri Island and you have to see it from the water. So I like inquired and I was like, how much would it be to do a private boat trip, or even like semi-private and we share with a few other people. But basically they didn't have many semi-private options left, they only had private options left, and it was €170 per person, which is obviously quite a lot. It's about like £150 each. There was 4 of us, so we were splitting 4 ways, but it was a big boat. It had like an underneath, like a bedroom and a toilet, a shower off the back, like a cover on the back so you could sit in the shade, and then a big bed on the front. I'll like put in some pictures I got from the boat. And I think it was worth every penny, to be honest, because they take you around the island. You can stop when you want. They booked us a table for lunch, but you can also just take a picnic with you, so you don't spend any extra money, which is kind of what we did. We took some snacks and some drinks, and as what in the price they do, it includes the petrol. It don't ever rent a boat and then have to pay for the petrol at the end, because petrol prices are ridiculous at the moment. So it's great that all of that was included. So yeah, that was completely included in the price, which made a big difference. And then they also had like Prosecco, beers, water, and like soft drinks and stuff on board for us that we could just help ourselves too. And obviously we had a skipper, so like he would drive us around, and he knew all the spots, and like took us to all the different grottos, and like took us to really good swimming spots, and then would like anchor up and just sort all that out. When Zach and I went on the boat by ourselves, like one of the things we struggled with, we didn't know where we were allowed to anchor and stuff like that. So it does help having someone just do it for you, and it just makes the whole experience just so much more enjoyable and relaxing. And honestly, I was in heaven all day. I felt so grateful. I was just like, this has just been the best day. Like, it was such a wholesome day. And we even went to this place called, my favourite place, we went to the Green Grotto, and they drop you off one side and you like swim through, which is really lovely. And it's not like super enclosed or anything, so if you're claustrophobic, don't worry. But they also dropped us off on the marina on the other side, and there were so many bougie boats. We saw the Tommy Hilfiger boat flag. We saw a Lamborghini boat. People like were getting like brought back to their boats, because basically you'd anchor your boat, and then like a little kind of like ferry would just bring you in to the port and then take you back to your boat when you wanted. So we went in and like shared a few pizzas. There was a really good pizza place, but I wouldn't recommend it. The service was pretty bad, but they do like takeaway pizzas as well, so I think they were pretty run off their feet. But I would definitely recommend just going in, getting a takeaway pizza, and then sitting on the beach and having it, or taking it back to your boat would definitely be the way forward, because it wasn't expensive for a pizza at all, but it did just we were there for quite a long time, and we just wanted to get going, just like waiting, because it was just quite slow. Like, it wasn't the food took ages to come, it was just like it took ages to get our bill and like actually get a menu to order something. I'm not one to complain about service, but I just do think it adds to the experience, and you want to have a nice time whilst you're there. So yeah, I would highly recommend. And then on the way back, I asked if we could go to this place called Bagni Regina Ganova. I'll write it on the screen because I'm probably saying that wrong. And it's basically like a load of the locals go there. It's like a swimming, they're like plunge pools in the rocks, like just at the end of Sorrento. So from Sorrento town, it's about like a 40-minute walk. So we obviously, the boat, he dropped us outside and we swam in, and you swim through like a kind of like an archway, and then it opens up and it's like a big plunge pool, like in the kind of bushes, rocks, and then there's like steps up the outside, like loads of different plunge pools that you can go to. But it's actually one of the only places there's sand, so there's like white sandy beaches, but there was like loads of young people there with their picnics, like speakers and stuff. So just honestly like such a lovely vibe. And then we went up the steps and stuff and walked around, and we saw some people jumping off of like the rock that you swim under to come in, like an archway you can jump off of there, and it's probably like a 6 maybe 8 meter drop. Maybe probably more like 6, it wasn't that high. But yeah, we went up and like dropped off and then swam back to our boat, which was really cool. But I did get a bit nervous because I let the boys go in front of me and I watched them go down, and then when I walked out onto like the spit to jump off, my legs got all shaky and nervous, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And then I really started hesitating, but I built up quite an audience. There was like literally 20 people in the water like cheering me on, making me jump, and I was like, fuck, I can't walk back now, I've got to do it. So I jumped. I'm really happy I did. It was really good fun. So like I said, I think you could do Sorrento in like 4 days and go for like a beach kind of city little break holiday, because after that we'd basically done everything that we wanted to do. We went to this place in the town for dinner. I'll put the name on the screen, I can't remember the name, but they gave us like complimentary Prosecco. It's almost like they knew we were having a really good day and they just wanted to make it better. Complimentary Prosecco, they gave us bruschetta for start on the house, and then I had like steak. I went all out. I had steak and it was like €16 and it was really good, with like Parmesan on top, and like a rocket and tomato salad. So that was really nice, and then we got ice cream afterwards, so it was the perfect day, to be honest, and worth every single penny. But like I said, definitely you could do Sorrento on a budget for like a long weekend. The Amalfi Coast, you can do it cheaply, but like I said, you just got to be careful where you go. And yeah, the next morning we basically got up early and went straight to the airport, and we just got the train to the airport from Sorrento, so that was pretty easy. The trains go pretty often, and yeah, the public transport there is cheap, but it's not quick, and it's not a nice experience. It's not like the public transport here in the UK. So yeah, I think I've answered everyone's questions. I'll link all the places we went to and the Airbnbs and stuff below, because the Airbnbs are the things that kind of really made our trips so good, because it was so affordable in comparison to staying in a hotel, and it made us feel a bit more like relaxed in the sense that we could cook at home if we wanted to, like if we were tired and like didn't want to get super dressed up and go to a restaurant. Not that you have to get dressed up, but it's always nice to get dressed up, isn't it? Yeah, I'll put how much we spent in total without not including the accommodation and the flights. I think our flights were like £80 each, so probably the cheapest thing out the holiday. We spent, I think we spent £900 each in total. Sounds about right? Yeah, £900 each. But like I said, that includes the boat trips, like dinners. We had lunch out quite a lot, and we didn't eat cheap. Like we were going and having like maybe starters and desserts and like a bottle of wine and going for drinks and stuff like that. So, but we weren't going mental. So I don't really think, we were there for 9 days. We kind of worked out about €100 a day, a bit more in the end because we spent a bit more on the last day because of the boat trip. But yeah, if you have any other questions, just drop them in the comments below. But this is a really long video of me rambling, so I'm not sure if anyone's going to watch this, but if you do watch it, I hope it's helpful. I have tempted you to go to the Amalfi Coast because it is beautiful, and you can, I would definitely recommend going onto the island of Capri, but it's way better going around it. It is stunning. The water is like crystal clear, so many great swimming spots, and like it's a very bougie lifestyle. I think that's the only way I can describe it. But yeah, thank you for watching if you have watched this. I mean, it's only here for your benefit really, not really mine. So if this is helpful for you, then just give it a thumbs up, and I can do more stuff like this. It was a shame that I didn't vlog, to be honest, but where I went away was because I was with Zach for the first 6 days. I was like, it's not his thing, so I never want to like push it on him. But I was like tempted to vlog in Sorrento, and I didn't in the end because it was just like we were doing so much, and yeah, it was like my friends came and we were catching up. So yeah, again, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I will speak to you guys soon. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.